I'm honored to call this man a friend. I've known him for quite some time, and I was a big fan of watching him do his work. He is here as part of Rocket Mortgage and their Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares sweepstakes. He is none other than Pro Football Hall of Famer Barry Sanders is right here, everybody. Good to see you, Barry.
Great to be here, Rick. How are you?
I am doing fine. What do you think of this game that's coming up this Sunday? Break it down for me, Barry Sanders. What do you got?
I mean, awesome matchup. Awesome matchup. I mean, I don't think there are a lot of people that are shocked to see these two teams here. Obviously the Chiefs probably feel like they could have been here last year.
Yeah.
And even before Jimmy went down last season, I mean, the Niners were playing very well. So yeah, I mean, two great teams, great personalities, coaches, great coaching matchup. As an old running back or former running back, I should say.
Well, once a running back, always a running back,
absolutely,
Barry.
Absolutely. I mean, I like what I've seen all year from the Niners. You know, they love running the ball. They between those three running backs, there's almost 2,000 yards.
It's amazing how much this pass-first, pass-heavy, spread them wide league just 2 years ago. You saw a team make it to the Super Bowl and win it all with the old RPOs and the run-pass option with a quarterback who really wasn't running it as well, just winging it all over the spot. And now the Ravens, the 49ers, the Titans, I could go on and on of teams that have absolutely focused on the run. And most of the teams, top 10 passing teams, did not make the playoffs.
I noticed
Virtually
that.
all of the run-heavy teams made the playoffs this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, you look at the runners that were in the playoffs, like Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook. You even include the quarterback Jackson in that mix.
Aaron Jones of the
Aaron
Packers.
Jones for the Packers.
Spectacular season for you.
So the running back and the running game certainly made a resurgence this year. I love seeing that and that's always been historically. That was a great formula for success, right? Great defense and being able to run the football. And certainly in my era, that was really pretty much the bottom line for all those dynasties that won the big game. And so it'll be interesting just to see, if that carries through this year.
And we hear so much about the 49ers scheme, Barry. We hear about how Kyle Shanahan creates so many different runs from so many different ways that you can't see it's coming from. Did you have a scheme, or do we just remember you just doing your own thing and get out there? Was there a scheme for you?
I mean,
Barry?
I think there was a scheme. I don't think it was as complicated, right, or maybe run-oriented, because if you remember, when I first came into the NFL, my offensive coordinator was a guy named Mounce Davis. Mounce was a run-and-shoot guy, right? Mounce Davis, June Jones, guys like that. So my first few years, that's what I did. I can't even count the number of offensive coordinators I had.
And I do remember the whole conversation was, let's get Barry a fullback.
Absolutely.
Right? That was the whole conversation at the time.
It was.
Like this run-and-shoot business, let's get Barry a fullback and let's see what Barry can do. Were you desiring a fullback at the time?
Well, I mean, that's the only way I ever played the game. And I was open to anything, obviously. In the run and shoot, we were pretty successful, but it's certainly by no means is a run-oriented offense.
It was more shoot.
What's that?
It was more shoot than run.
A lot of shoot. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was.
But we had some intermingled in there toward the end of my career. You remember touchdown Tommy Vardell, Corey Schlesinger. Those are two guys that I did have as fullbacks later in my career.
I love you're smiling over there, Chris. The name of touchdown Tommy Vardell.
That's so great. What a throwback.
That's why we love doing shows like this. We had no idea when we woke up today for a Super Bowl 54 show that we'd be hearing the name touchdown Tommy Vardell.
He deserves a mention. Come on,
he does.
Why not?
This deserves a Barry Sanders
That's
shout
awesome.
out. No doubt about that. Who was the toughest guy for you to juke? That you knew going into the game, I had to give my special Sanders maneuver.
That's hard to say. I played against so many great defensive players. One that comes to mind who I played against early in my career for the Vikings. It was a guy named Joey Browner.
Oh, yeah.
Joey was into like karate and jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff. And he was a great safety.
He was
right,
big
for
tall.
many years.
I mean, you could say like you know the safeties and the big tall guys that Seattle made famous in the recent years, like Joey Browner was of that mold.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think he was a guy that I felt like it was kind of hard to trick him.
Right.
Especially my first couple years. I think eventually I got around to it, but if I just was going to pick one, but there's so many great defensive players that I played against, but
now which is the greatest defensive player for you, Barry Sanders? A pelt on the wall that you got that.
The greatest I would probably have to say. I mean, I struggle to say between Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White. I'll just say Reggie White because I just know that. You know, the way he dominated the defensive end position when he played. And, you know, you're in the trenches with other giants. And the way he dominated that position and the way that the week of when he played for Green Bay was when I played him and when they made the Super Bowl run. And the week of practice, you would always see our coaches, our offensive coordinators taking out certain plays in the playbook saying, no, we're not going to run this to Reggie's side. We got to, you know, obviously slide the protection to his side and doing all these things, making all these adjustments in the game plan for him, and you still couldn't stop him. You know, so if I had to pick one player, it had to be the Minister of Defense, Reggie White.
But did you get him? Did you get him at one point where he thought he had you and you got him?
I always just stay far away from Reggie. You know, I always just stayed away from him.
Okay. You know? Are you being too modest here, or you just don't?
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure at some point. I got him, and I'm sure at some point he got me as well.
What about Lawrence Taylor? What about Lawrence?
Lawrence, oh wow. I mean, the guy was just such a beast, and in the same way, just so dominant, right? I'm fortunate that we didn't play them a lot. We weren't in the same division,
right?
You know, so I'm not exactly sure, you know, how that one played out. But my second game in the NFL was in the Meadowlands against the Giants, and again, like I said, we were running run and shoot, and I just remember him coming up at the end of the game and just saying to me, you know, you guys should scrap this run and shoot. You should get a fullback, and you would be unstoppable in this league.
That's what he told you?
And that's what I remember about that particular game, playing against LT.
Well, if I remember, the run and shoot didn't really have much in terms of protection. And I'm sure
no, it wasn't.
Right,
it wasn't
at all.
Yeah, you didn't have a tight end, obviously.
They didn't leave you to try and chip Lawrence Taylor on that day, did they? Is that what happened that day?
No, I don't think so. No, I think they were smarter than that. Yeah. I think they were smarter than that.
That would be a long day for a rookie. But that's what he said to you after that game?
After the game, he said, he was basically giving me a compliment saying, hey, look, man, if you got a fullback, you'd be unstoppable. You guys should scrap this run and shoot. I don't know if he ever told our offensive coordinators that, but he certainly told me that. I'll never forget it.
Did you tell your coaches what Lawrence said?
I did not. No, I didn't. I didn't say anything to him.
You sat on that one, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
A few more minutes left here with Barry Sanders. Who is the running back you would pay hard-earned Barry Sanders dollars to see today? One guy. I want to see that guy.
Well, I mean, wow. Well, you first name that comes to mind, obviously, is Derrick Henry, who led the league in rushing this year and led his team into the playoffs in a great playoff win in New England. And he kind of reminds me of like a Jim Brown type runner, right? I mean, just big and powerful and fast, you know, and just had a dynamic year. I mean, you're going to get me in trouble, but there's a lot of really good running backs that I like to watch in today's game, like Saquon Barkley or Zeke Elliott or Christian McCaffrey. The list goes on. You know, so yeah, I'm still very much a big fan of watching that part of the game. But definitely give the hat, you know, tip my hat to Derrick Henry and what he did this season.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We were talking before we came on the air. McCaffrey, Stanford guy. You sent your kid to play for David Shaw. Now Emmett's doing the same thing.
It's great.
A great spot for
Hall of Famer running backs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Playing, sons playing at Stanford.
It's like David Shaw's collecting your kids one by one and just bringing them in.
Well, it speaks for the kind of job he's done out there, and I'm excited for Emmett's kid. It's a great program and just a great atmosphere is what I'm trying to say. Stanford, just a world-class university, and so he'll be pleased out there.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the passing of Chris Dolman, the Minnesota Viking and longtime Viking in San Francisco 49er as well, and fellow Hall of Famer. Do you have any memories of Chris or anything of that nature?
Absolutely. I mean, as I mentioned Joey Browner earlier, Chris Dolman would have been his teammate, and Chris was just a fantastic player. Just a sharp guy. When you met him and talked to him off the field, you realize that there's so much to him. I saw him last year at Super Bowl, and I think he had brain cancer surgery, and he was on the mend. But just a all-around great guy, and he's definitely going to be missed by football fans and obviously his Minnesota Vikings family. And just very sad news.
It is very sad news. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Frank Gore passed you on the all-time rushing list here. Do you think Frank deserves to be in the Hall of Fame with you one day, Barry?
I'm assuming so. Again, congratulations to Frank just for the longevity that he's had. And the guys, to still be viable, and able to play and put up those numbers. And anytime you're on the all-time list, then, you had to work and earn your way on there, right? And so, again, tip of the hat to Frank. And hey, look, play as long as you want and play as long as you're having a good time. And his team had good success, making it to the playoffs. And so good job, Frank.
So tell me about the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares sweepstakes. So it's just like pretty much the what a lot of folks do in their own homes, which is
Game of Squares. Absolutely.
Game of Squares.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just trying to put cash in fans' hands. Like you said, the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square sweepstakes. Every score change, a fan is going to win $50,000. Halftime score and the score at the end of the game, two lucky fans are going to win $500,000. You can go to rocketmortgagesquares.com to sign up. It's free to sign up.
Yep.
So those are great reasons there to do it.
It's free.
There really aren't any good reasons to avoid this. I mean, it's just an all-around great game. I think fans will love it. Most of our favorite team is not in the game, right? So, and obviously it's the world's biggest game, but it gives you even more of a reason to watch Super Bowl and be invested in it and maybe even win a lot of cash. So every score change, $50,000. The halftime score and the score at the end of the game, $500,000. RocketMortgageSquares.com to sign up.
Yeah, RocketMortgageSquares.com. And so when it's all said and done, who's hoisting the Lombardi Trophy? I'm going to put you on the spot. I know you are known for your elusiveness. Just imagine I'm Joey Browner right now in your rookie season without your fullback in the run and shoot. You've got to give me an answer.
That's scary, man.
I know.
That's scary.
That's what I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it on.
No, I mean,
now.
Again, it's such a great matchup, and I think so many fans will be invested in it. And you got one of the league's best offenses against one of the league's best defenses. I'm leaning. Today is just Wednesday, so
Yes.
I'll pick the Niners. I'm going with the old formula for winning Super Bowls: running the football and playing great defense. And the young head coach Kyle Shanahan, hoisting the Lombardi Trophy.
That's Barry Sanders, everybody. A round of applause for Barry.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.